local government, where we have our reporter Olamide Adeyemi standing by. Olamide, that's a populated environment as well, and a very busy one at that. Give us update on voter turnout at Oshodi-Isolo.
Right. First, good morning, I will say. I'm currently at Oshodi-Isolo local government area, Oye Street, to be specific. But currently, the distribution of election materials is still ongoing in the local government secretariat. But just before I came to Oshodi, I was at Ikeja, and from what I observed, I saw that there was a low voter turnout in many of the polling units. Some persons will say it's still quite early to say that it's a low voter turnout. So we wait out to see what's going to happen there. There was also a mix-up, discrepancies in polling unit number, ward number, and all of that, especially at an area in Orego where we had two officers in charge of just one polling unit. And so I said that I spoke to them and they said that LASEC officers were on it. I also spoke to the LASEC PRO who also said that it was a slight issue, something that could be rectified. For people who know Lagos very well, you know that these locations, Ikeja and Oshodi, are quite strategic. And one would expect that, because this is the closest election to the grassroots, or the closest, that the people can vote, where they can make decisions for themselves also through the leaders that they will elect, who will have a high voter turnout. But from what I've noticed, people have not really turned up as we expected. And that's why I said it's possible that we will see more of them later in the day. Also,
it's still early.
At the fact that, right.
Olamide, I wanted to also ask you, because Oshodi-Isolo also has a very large population of young people. You see them, from time to time as you move around that area. In terms of the voting population and age group, give us just an update and of your observation as to who has turned up the most to vote.
Okay, so while I was also speaking, it's not some of them, some of the youth, passed behind me. They were also mentioning things like, let's go and vote. They were saying that in the Yoruba language. But like I said earlier, they are still distributing election materials. So some of them are just leaving. I mean, adult officials are just leaving the local government to some of these wards, which some of them will take about, 10 minutes. So I would say election has not actually started. It's just, tables that have, signified that election will start in some of these areas. But for now, we're still waiting to finish the distribution of some of these materials. Like I was talking about Ikeja, knowing the fact that it is a very, strategic hub in terms of commerce, business, and it's also, the office of the state governor rather. We're expecting that there will be more turnout later in the day. But that's what we have for now.
But was any reason given for the delay in the distribution of materials?
Okay, so I spoke to LASEC PRO, Stephen Ojo, who said that they have done their job. Speaking with the chairman, even from days before, she mentioned that sensitive materials had already been distributed and non-sensitive materials. And so I would say probably the problem is from the local government offices here. So there was no reason exactly given as to why it was late. But even if some of these, materials were coming out late, we still did not see people, standing around the polling units, waiting to perhaps make their vote and all of that, showing enthusiasm about this vote. So some people, I think it's a rest day for them. All the way from Ikeja to Oshodi down here, you could see many young persons, playing football, some of them just playing on the streets. And so it seems like an off day for many persons. I'll give you an update when I get, more about
absolutely, absolutely, Olamide. Thank you so much for that, and we'll come back to you when the process commences in those polling units. A reporter live for us at Oshodi-Isolo local government area, where she has been monitoring the exercise. She has reported that there's been a delay in the distribution of materials. Olamide Adeyemi live for us there. But let's bring the conversation back to the studio. I will let you finish your thought before we take on some of these issues raised.
Thank you.